Imagine a place where the police drive Lamborghinis. Imagine a country where the average salary is so high that a fresh graduate earns what a CEO makes in other parts of the world. Imagine a nation so wealthy that the government doesn't just not tax you, they actually pay you to live there. Now, stop imagining, because these places are real. When we think of economic superpowers, our minds usually jump to the giants, the United States, China, or Germany. We think of sprawling industries, massive populations, and endless cities. But what if I told you that in 2026, the true kings of wealth aren't the giants, they are the dwarfs? Welcome to a special deep dive on the richest small countries in the world. Today, we're looking at the nations that prove size doesn't matter, at least not when it comes to your bank account. These are the microstates and small nations that have hacked the global economy. Some did it through oil, some through banking, and others through sheer grit and innovation. We are going to look at the numbers using the very latest 2025 and 2026 economic data from the IMF and the World Bank to show you exactly how these tiny territories became the wealthiest places on Earth. We aren't just looking at GDP per capita, though we will talk about that. We're looking at lifestyle. We're asking, how did they get so rich? What is it actually like to live there? And most importantly, can you move there and join the club? From the glittering casinos of Asia to the snowy peaks of the Alps, get ready to update your bucket list. You are watching Fact Voyage, and this is the story of how the little guys won the lottery.
Let's start our journey in Europe, entirely surrounded by Italy. We're kicking off our list of the richest small countries in the world with a nation that might look like a medieval movie set, but has a bank account that is very much modern. This is San Marino. With a population of just over 34,000 people sitting on about 61 square kilometers of land, San Marino is the oldest surviving sovereign state and constitutional republic in the world. It was founded, according to legend, in 300 AD by a stonecutter named Marinus. Fast forward over 1,700 years to 2026, and Marinus would be shocked to see how well his little mountain refuge is doing. According to the latest IMF data, San Marino's GDP per capita is hovering comfortably around the $65,000 to $70,000 mark. That might not sound like Bill Gates money yet, but here is the kicker. San Marino has practically no national debt. In a world where major economies are drowning in trillions of dollars of debt, San Marino runs a budget surplus. So, how does a tiny country on the side of a mountain get rich? Historically, it was stamps and coins. For decades, collectors worldwide paid a premium for rare San Marinese stamps, contributing a huge chunk to the GDP. But you can't build a 21st century economy on postage alone. Today, San Marino is a powerhouse of banking, ceramics, and tourism. Over 2 million tourists visit annually. That is more than 60 times the local population. But the real secret to their wealth is stability. Because they have remained neutral and independent for centuries, even surviving the Napoleonic Wars and World War II intact, capital loves San Marino. It's a safe haven. The corporate tax rates are much lower than neighboring Italy, making it a magnet for businesses. Living here is like living in a fairy tale, but with high-speed internet and great healthcare. The unemployment rate is incredibly low. If you lose your job in San Marino, the state support system is robust because with only 30,000 people, the government can actually afford to take care of everyone. It's small, it's ancient, and it's quietly incredibly wealthy. But as we move up the list, quiet is about to go out the window.
We're leaving Europe and flying east to the island of Borneo. Here, tucked away on the northern coast, lies the Sultanate of Brunei. If San Marino is about old money, Brunei is about black gold. For a long time, Brunei was synonymous with unimaginable wealth, largely due to its ruler, the Sultan of Brunei, who was once the richest man on the planet. While technology moguls have since overtaken him on the Forbes list, the country itself remains one of the richest small countries in the world in 2026. With a population of around 460,000, Brunei sits on massive reserves of oil and natural gas. When you divide those billions of dollars in oil revenue by such a small population, you get a GDP per capita, PPP, that hits nearly $95,000. Life in Brunei is unique. Citizens pay zero personal income tax, none. The government provides free education through the university level and free healthcare. If a medical treatment isn't available in Brunei, the government will fly you and a companion to another country, usually Singapore or the UK, and pay for the treatment, the travel, and the accommodation. They also have heavily subsidized housing and fuel. You can fill up your car for the price of a bottle of water. This is the definition of a rentier state, a country that derives all its income from renting out its natural resources. However, in 2026, Brunei is facing a challenge. Oil doesn't last forever. The country is racing to diversify its economy under the Wawasan Brunei 2035 vision, trying to boost tourism and Islamic banking. But for now, if you walk around the capital, Bandar Seri Begawan, you won't see the hustle of New York or Tokyo. It is quiet. It is the abode of peace, after all. Alcohol is banned, nightlife is virtually non-existent, and the pace of life is slow. But it is a wealthy slow. It's the kind of quiet that comes from knowing your bills are paid and your gas tank is full. From the tropical heat of Brunei, we go to the fire and ice of the North Atlantic. Number 8 is Iceland. Now, you might be thinking, wait, didn't Iceland go bankrupt in 2008? Yes, they did. And that makes their presence on this list of the richest small countries in the world even more impressive. Their recovery has been nothing short of miraculous. In 2026, Iceland is boasting a GDP per capita of over $80,000. For a rock in the middle of the ocean with only 380,000 people, that is staggering. Iceland's wealth isn't just about fishing anymore, though cod is still currency there. It's about energy. Iceland produces almost 100% of its electricity from renewable sources, geothermal and hydroelectric. Energy there is cheap and abundant. This has attracted massive aluminum smelting industries, and more recently, data centers. Your cloud storage? There's a good chance it's being cooled by Icelandic air. And then there's tourism. Post-2010, after the Eyjafjallajökull volcano erupted, the world suddenly paid attention to Iceland. Now, tourism is a cash cow, bringing in billions. But wealth in Iceland looks different. It's not about Ferraris, it's about quality of life. Iceland consistently ranks as one of the happiest and safest places on Earth. It has high taxes, yes, but the return is a society with almost no poverty, incredible gender equality, and a strong social safety net. However, living here is expensive. A simple burger and fries can cost you $25. A beer? $12. The cost of living is high because almost everything has to be imported. But salaries match the prices. If you are an Icelander in 2026, you're working hard, but you're earning a global premium for your labor. We are heading back to the heat, to a peninsula in the Persian Gulf that has transformed faster than perhaps any other place on Earth. Number 7 is Qatar. If you looked at Qatar in the 1940s, it was a pearl diving community. Today, it is a sci-fi metropolis. Qatar holds the world's third largest natural gas reserves. In the last 2 decades, they became the world's leading exporter of liquefied natural gas, or LNG. The result? A GDP per capita, PPP, that often tops $120,000. For the 300,000 or so actual Qatari citizens, out of a total population of nearly 3 million, life is incredibly privileged.
We are talking about free electricity, free water, guaranteed government jobs, and grants for land. It is a welfare state on steroids, funded entirely by hydrocarbons. In 2026, Qatar is continuing to push its National Vision 2030. They realize that relying solely on gas is risky, so they've poured billions into the Qatar Investment Authority. They own chunks of London, massive stakes in Volkswagen, and luxury brands worldwide. They are trying to turn gas money into forever money. Walking through Doha, you see the wealth in the architecture. The National Museum, shaped like a desert rose, the ultra-luxury malls with air-conditioned outdoor walkways. It's a display of sheer financial force. But it's a polarized wealth. The high GDP per capita statistics are often skewed because they're an average. The wealth of the Qatari citizens is astronomical, while the migrant workforce that builds the cities earns significantly less. However, when we talk about the wealth of the nation in macro terms, Qatar is an undeniable titan among the richest small countries in the world.
Okay, I tricked you. The United States isn't a small country, but there is a territory that functions like a country economically and makes Las Vegas look like a budget motel. Number 6 is Macau. Often called the Las Vegas of Asia, Macau is a special administrative region of China, much like Hong Kong. But while Hong Kong is about stocks and trade, Macau is about gaming. It is the only place in China where gambling is legal. Before the pandemic, Macau was often number 1 or number 2 on global wealth lists. It took a massive hit during the lockdowns of the early 2020s, but looking at the 2026 data, Macau is back with a vengeance. The tourists have returned, and the GDP per capita is rocketing back up past $75,000 and climbing toward 90,000 PPP. In a territory of just 30 square kilometers, billions of dollars change hands every month. The taxes from these casinos contribute to over 80% of the government's revenue. This creates a fascinating fiscal phenomenon, the wealth partaking scheme. Every year, the government of Macau simply cuts a check to its permanent residents. In 2026, residents are receiving around 10,000 pitakas, about $1,250 USD, just for existing. It's a literal dividend from the nation's profits. But Macau isn't just slots and baccarat. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site with a unique blend of Portuguese and Chinese culture. You can eat a Portuguese egg tart in a European-style plaza and then walk 5 minutes to a $2 billion casino resort. For the locals, the wealth brings challenges, specifically housing. Space is so limited and money is so abundant that real estate prices are astronomical. But in terms of pure economic output per person, Macau remains a heavyweight champion. Let's return to Europe, to the Emerald Isle. Number 5 is Ireland. Ireland is a fascinating case study. If you look at the raw data from the IMF for 2025-2026, Ireland often ranks as the second or third richest country in the world, with a GDP per capita smashing past $100,000. But there's a catch. Economists call it leprechaun economics. This massive wealth is partly due to Ireland's status as a corporate tax haven. Giants like Apple, Google, Meta, Facebook, and Pfizer have their European headquarters in Dublin to take advantage of the 12.5%, now 15% corporate tax rate. This inflates the GDP because all that global revenue is booked in Ireland, even if the money doesn't fully circulate in the local Irish economy. However, even if you strip away the multinational fluff, using a metric the Irish government calls GNI star, Ireland is still incredibly rich. The Celtic Tiger days of the 90s have matured into a robust, tech-heavy economy. In 2026, if you walk around the Silicon Docks in Dublin, you hear a dozen languages. Highly skilled workers from all over Europe flock here for high-paying tech jobs. The average salary is high, the standard of living is excellent, and the education system is top-tier. But like many entries on our list of the richest small countries in the world, the wealth brings a housing crisis. There is so much money chasing so few houses that rents in Dublin rival London or New York. Despite the housing crunch, the transformation of Ireland from one of Europe's poorest nations in the 1980s to one of its richest in 2026 is a testament to the power of education and smart, if controversial, tax policy.
Number 4 needs no introduction. It is the brand name for wealth, Switzerland. Unlike Ireland or Qatar, whose wealth spiked relatively recently, Switzerland has been rich for a very long time. It is the old guard. With a GDP per capita sitting comfortably above $95,000 nominal and often higher in PPP, Switzerland is a machine of efficiency. Why is Switzerland so rich? People think banks. And yes, Swiss banks hold a significant percentage of the world's offshore wealth. But in 2026, banking is just one piece of the pie. Switzerland is an industrial powerhouse, but they don't make cheap plastic toys. They make the things that make the things. Precision machinery, pharmaceuticals, Novartis and Roche are giants, and luxury goods. If you buy a $50,000 watch, it's Swiss. If you buy a $100 million machine to manufacture microchips, the components are likely Swiss. The Swiss philosophy is high value, low volume. Living in Switzerland is arguably the most comfortable experience on Earth, if you can afford it. The trains run to the second, the streets are spotless, the air is clean, but the cost of living is legendary. A coffee is $6, a steak is $50. Mandatory health insurance is expensive. But here is the difference. The salaries are unmatched. A McDonald's worker in Geneva earns more than a junior doctor in many other European countries. The Swiss premium applies to everything. Switzerland also benefits from a unique political system, direct democracy. Citizens vote on everything, which creates a very stable, slow-moving political environment that investors love. In a chaotic world, Switzerland is a bunker of stability.
We are back in Asia for number 3, and this is my personal favorite success story on the list, Singapore. In 1965, Singapore was expelled from Malaysia. It was a swampy island with no natural resources. They didn't even have enough fresh water. Their leader, Lee Kuan Yew, cried on national television because he thought the country wouldn't survive. Fast forward to 2026, Singapore is a futuristic utopia with a GDP per capita PPP rocketing past $140,000. It is the richest country in Asia and one of the richest in the world. How did they do it? They realized that if you have no resources, your people are your resource. They built a world-class education system and made English the common language to connect with the global economy. They created the world's most business-friendly environment and one of the busiest shipping ports on the planet. Singapore is the gateway between East and West. In 2026, it is the financial capital of Asia, having absorbed much of the capital that fled Hong Kong during periods of instability. Life in Singapore is efficient. It is safe. Crime is virtually non-existent. It is green. The government mandates that buildings must have greenery, turning the city into a city in a garden. But it is also competitive. The Singaporean dream is defined by the 5 C's: cash, car, credit card, condominium, and country club. Achieving that in 2026 is getting harder as the cost of living rises. A simple Toyota Corolla can cost $150,000 due to the government's certificate of entitlement system aimed at controlling traffic. Yet, despite the cost, Singapore attracts the world's ultra-wealthy. The tax rates are low, the airport, Changi, is basically a resort, and the quality of life is pristine. It is the ultimate proof that a small country can dominate the world without a drop of oil in the ground.
We are getting to the very top now. Number 2 is a tiny Grand Duchy nestled between Germany, France, and Belgium, Luxembourg. For years, Luxembourg has held the title of the richest country per capita. In 2026, it is still fighting for that top spot with a GDP per capita of around $146,000. To put that in perspective, the average person in Luxembourg economically produces twice as much as the average American and 3 times as much as the average Brit. Luxembourg started with steel. In the early 20th century, the red earth of the South provided the iron ore that built their economy. But when the steel industry declined in the 70s, they didn't panic. They pivoted. They decided to become the financial center of Europe. Today, Luxembourg is the second largest investment fund center in the world, right after the United States. Trillions of euros flow through this tiny country. But it's not just banks. In 2026, Luxembourg is a space mining hub? Yes, you heard that right. The government has invested heavily in the asteroid mining industry, positioning itself as the future Silicon Valley of space resources. What is life like? It's quiet, multicultural, almost 50% of the population are foreigners, and very wealthy. Public transport is completely free for everyone. Trains, buses, trams, all of it. The minimum wage is the highest in the EU. However, Luxembourg has a strange phenomenon, the cross-border workers. Every day, over 200,000 people commute into Luxembourg from France, Germany, and Belgium to work, and then go home at night. This inflates the GDP per capita numbers because these workers contribute to the economy but aren't counted in the population divisor. Even accounting for that, Luxembourg is a juggernaut. It is the administrative heart of the European Union and a fortress of wealth.
And now we reach the summit, the #1 richest small country in the world in 2026. It is a country you might miss if you blink while driving through the Alps. It has no airport, it has no army, it is double landlocked, meaning you have to cross at least 2 borders to reach the sea. Welcome to Liechtenstein. The stats for Liechtenstein are mind-blowing. The IMF and UN projections for 2026 place its GDP per capita somewhere between $200,000 and $230,000. That is astronomical. It is nearly 3 times the wealth of the United States per person. So what is the secret? Is it a tax haven? Partly, yes. For a long time, Liechtenstein was known as a place where billionaires hid their money. While they have cleaned up their banking transparency significantly to meet EU standards, financial services are still huge. But the real secret of Liechtenstein is industrialization. This is the most industrialized nation on Earth. 40% of its workforce is in manufacturing. But we aren't talking about smokestacks. We are talking about hyper-specialized, high-tech niche products. Have you ever had a dental filling? The company Ivoclar Vivident, based in Liechtenstein, is a world leader in false teeth and dental products. Have you ever used a power drill? Hilti, the construction giant, was founded and is headquartered here. Liechtenstein is a nation of hidden champions. They make the steering columns for your car, the connectors for your audio systems, and the ceramics for your dentist. The country is technically a semi-constitutional monarchy. The Prince of Liechtenstein is one of the few European monarchs who still has significant political power, and he is also personally one of the richest royals in Europe. Unemployment in Liechtenstein is basically a rounding error. It's often around 1.5%. Crime is so low that the prison usually has no inmates. Citizens enjoy a direct democracy, similar to Switzerland. Living here is exclusive. It is incredibly difficult to immigrate to Liechtenstein. They have a quota system, and unless you are a high-net-worth individual or a highly specialized specialist, good luck getting a residency permit. It is a private club masquerading as a country, and in 2026, that club is the richest one on the planet.
So what have we learned from our voyage through the richest small countries in the world? We've learned that in the modern economy, you don't need a massive army or a billion people to be powerful. You can get rich by being smart like Singapore and Ireland. You can get rich by being lucky with resources like Qatar and Brunei. You can get rich by being specialized and efficient like Liechtenstein and Switzerland. These nations have proven that agility beats size. They can adapt their laws, change their tax codes, and pivot their economies faster than any giant superpower ever could. Of course, they aren't perfect. High costs of living, housing crises, and questions about inequality exist in almost all of them. But there is no denying the numbers. If you want the highest chance of earning a high salary, driving a nice car, and living in safety in 2026, you might want to stop looking at the big map and start looking at the magnifying glass. Which of these small giants would you move to if you could? Would you choose the tropical luxury of Singapore or the snowy peaks of Liechtenstein? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into global wealth, make sure to hit that like button. It helps the channel more than you know. And subscribe to Fact Voyage so you don't miss our next adventure. I'm your host, signing off. Stay curious and keep exploring.